Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Very good. When I turn the camera off is because I need to come close to the screen, and I find it uncomfortable when I've seen other videos and the person really gets close to the screen. That's why I turned the video off, the camera off, not the video. Well, it is the video. It is the camera. Okay. So, do we need to talk about the 2 wonderful days that I spent with you guys just a few days ago? Michelle, Fanny, Maggie, Elia, and let me see the names of the others who were there.
Hola.
Hola, Elizabeth was there.
Yes, maybe we can about at some point they were right on the chat about what
Yes.
I don't know, but about what we can say, what we cannot say, and many more
You
uh,
know,
like maybe more
uh-huh.
technique aspect and ethically aspect. This is my first therapy, like in any way. So I'm not used to other therapy,
Mm-hmm.
but I find super interesting the chat we have after that.
Yes.
Uh, what about to push someone?
Mm-hmm.
That to so the person is able to put out all the emotion, like in this case it was angriness.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I don't know what others think about that. Maybe for the people that were not here, without telling the story, we can maybe mention what happened fast, and then maybe debate a little bit about that. What
Mm-hmm.
is for me like really like what we can say, what we cannot say, where till what are the boundary, what
Mm-hmm.
this, yeah, just
And so I
learn it.
think I had some talks with other people about the aftercare. People going to home with a lot of emotion, sometimes a bit shock, like still need to process a lot of things. What can happen
Yes.
those days after? Also to come to constellation. I have my own, how you say, like habits or rituals, like putting some protection. You don't need to receive all the energy from the others too. Like some people are super sensitive, and then you also take some things home that shouldn't supposed to be for you, or like, yeah, bring
Yes, and
a
also
lot
I
of
remember this guy came on Sunday. What his name? Eitan, and I remark at the end he cannot even walk correctly. So I just told him, please, if you don't feel ground, maybe drink some water. I honestly didn't know what to tell him, just to maybe walk into the garden, like to feel that he's coming back to himself, so then he can drive to Teresa. This is something before that I never really care about, but maybe I should to
Well, thank you. It's uh let's see.
so
I'm
many
opening the
things.
chat. Yes.
So many things.
Well, so many things happened.
Yeah, right.
So it's even the duck part
Yeah.
did her participation, and
Yeah.
also the um
Banano.
banana, of course, and the small one.
I have to say Banano sleep the entire day on Monday, but he slept like all day long.
Of course, of course. Yes, because it was very intense. Yes, and let's start. Let's start by reading what And Jessica's not in the group, right? Yet. I don't know if she's going to participate or not. I guess what I want to be sure is Elia mentioned she was going to be here only half an hour, but you will have the recording. Jared, and those of you, Erica, Muriel, I guess you knew that I was going to go to Kabuya, and I arrived Saturday and I came back Monday, and it was 2 days, well, two sessions from about 1:30 to about 5 or 6, I don't remember, and more or less Saturday and Sunday. And there were different participants Saturday and some the same and others on Sunday. And for some, it was their first movement. For others, it wasn't their first movement. And Fanny, to summarize, sometimes the way we say things makes a difference. Instead of you should drink more water, um, do you want to drink water? It seems like you need to drink water. I might be wrong. And this has to do with what happened with one of the participants, where another one said, maybe you should express your anger, or it would be good for you to express your anger. I don't remember the exact words. And she felt she was being told what to do. And I thought that was a possibility, that she needed to express her anger, but I didn't say it. But somebody else in the group said it for me. So what is right and what is wrong? We find out. We find out in the doings. Um, Mr. Hellinger was sued several times that I'm aware of, at least 2 times. People weren't happy with the results. They even blamed him for a suicide that somebody committed after the session. And his response was, we're all adults. We all know what we're doing. And if we don't know, well, I guess what I'm saying is we all do the best we can, all of us. The consultants on one hand, the facilitators on the other, the participants on the other. Um, so, saying that, I said we were going to read the script. Before I start reading, anybody needs to say something?
Yes, I feel called to say something about this topic, about what are the boundaries, what can you say, what can you not say. And although I wasn't there present, I'm fully aware it was a very conscious choice not to be there. I had like other things I felt called to. I do have a lot of experience with coaching people, working people in groups, one-on-one. And what I always recommend, everything, always, whatever it is that you coach with, is being clear about, um, um, sorry, what's the word? I have a blackout, like disclaimers. I always if someone will participate in a familiar constellation with me, I would have them read and check box something stating your exactly your words, Gloria, we're all adults, you're your own responsibility. I'm not responsible for any consequences due to what you will be learning in this session, etc., etc. I will not allow anyone to pay me for anything without having checkboxed something that is stating I'm fully consent of I'm my own responsibility. That is business-wise smart. It will not happen a lot, but this work with people, I do a lot of people work already, but not specifically as a family constellator, but I see this as the same type of work. I have had people crying in my sessions, very angry, and they paid me for this work, and they actually said yes by checkboxing this before they attended. Boom. And then it's okay. Basically, they cannot sue you. They cannot say, yeah, but it was you. No, it's like that's part of the coaching, being angry or being sad. It's let it be, blah, blah, blah. I think a disclaimer, that's basically my point.
Mm-hmm,
Having a
mm-hmm.
disclaimer there.
And
But
not
that's technical, maybe.
on the other hand, it's like, okay, I'm responsible for my part, and you're responsible for your part, and we're responsible. All of us are. And mm, it's interesting because we all trigger one another certain things. That's why my emphasis on personal processes. And yes, I have been wrong. Yes, I have had people help me. Yes, maybe I would one or two times done something different. But on the of the 24 years that I've been facilitating family constellations, I can just talk about one or two times that maybe I felt I could have done it different. And then I'm not so sure. And this Saturday that just happened, no, I wouldn't have made it different. It's it- it's I guess what I'm saying is sometimes I wish I could help people more, and I can't, and that's it. It's a fact, and I'm glad it happened because disclaimer, like you're saying, Muriel, is appropriate. I've never used one. I've never had one in the 24 years in the different countries I've worked: Mexico, United States, Costa Rica, Chile, Argentina. Mm, I was in Uruguay, but as a translator, not as a facilitator. And in England and in Italy. And I've never had. And I don't know if I will, but that's me. Okay. That's me. Probably if there's more people involved, maybe I would have to have it so that the people that work with me and uh, for me can feel comfortable. But you're right, Mira. And if I would have done something different was I wish I would have hugged all of you more. That's what I would have done different.
I wanted to touch on, can I touch on some little thing that you said I really resonate with, Gloria? Speaking as a coach in a different area, but working with people and when emotions get high, I've had
Mm-hmm.
angry people, sad people, that I always get back when that happens, like to, I'm a coach and you cannot, I always use this metaphor. You can guide a horse to the water. You cannot force it to drink. So as a coach, we're always, let's talk for me. I feel responsible to coach people from A to B. But if someone does not allow you to, that's where your guidance stops until the person is ready. And sometimes I've had people, they were angry, they were like, but they didn't give up. I gave them time and they came back when they were ready. So it could be, it's a very valuable part of the process, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And that doesn't mean that you haven't helped people. So there's always also a way of labeling if you have helped someone. If someone becomes angry, it could be very helpful, but
Yeah.
not in your reach visible. But maybe someone, learns something from it, and 2 years later, it helps them a lot in another program or with another mentor, then they're ready to to do something with it. So yeah, there's a lot of facets, a lot of aspects on this. But I learned, because I'm in the making money online industry, I have to have my disclaimers. If people say,
Yes,
I did your coaching, like, oh, I'm not making any. I'm like, hello, your consent that you're fully responsible, whatever you're doing.
exactly,
In this.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
but this is a very interesting field. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah.
It is. And again, I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. I don't know. I'm doing things I've never done in my life.
Yeah.
And like taking a small plane to go to Kabuya, Goano, and being picked up. I hadn't done it in a long time. Or other things, having a team that works with me and being um, accompanied and supported in a apoyado. I like the word in Spanish, not supported, because supported could also mean economically, but not, no. I mean, with Maggie, she's part of the team in the English version. And now Fanny with her house, and Elia with she was the one, she was the one responsible for having me there. If you need to complain with somebody, to somebody, it's her. Yes. In a good way, I'm saying it, okay? Because she asked me if I was going to go there, and I said no. But then something happened that I called, and a week ago, well, last Friday, it was like, well, just help me with the plane ticket, and I'll be there. Okay. I felt the need, and Fanny, what you did with Aiton was great. I, it's thank you for those of you that took care of others, where I was, it was I was ready to leave and go home and pack up and rest. And it all started with, yes, I do have a sense of humor or sarcasm that sometimes triggers responses, and that's what how it all happened. It's I'm always seriously trying to see the good things in life, always. What do I mean? It's like, hey, I talked to somebody who I hadn't talked to in 6 years, and this person takes 2 weeks to respond. I'm going to be grateful that she didn't wait. He didn't wait 6 years to respond. And then that was my comment that triggered, um, and that triggered the anger. And I was just trying to make a point that be grateful that she didn't take as long as you did, or be grateful, period. And if she didn't respond, just be grateful because you noticed that she read your message. Let's be grateful for everything. And I was grateful to with what everything that the way it happened and how it happened. And it says, "Hi, Gloria. Will we cover more on language and how to speak be with clients?" I ask this in regards to Saturday. The thing I noticed the most was the difference between those that were able to be with me without giving instructions and who were gentle with their language and held a genuine space versus those that were sure they knew what I should do and how I should feel. I know it was all said with love, but it didn't feel in alignment with me as a client, and I felt completely overrun. I've worked with clients for years and qualified in several modalities. And one of the things consistent in every training is how we should not be saying to clients, you should, you need to, especially when you do not know the client in depth, know of their process or any details of their journey. As practitioners or therapists, it is not our job to tell people what to do, but to hold space for them to complete their process. Excuse me, there I disagree. I do tell people what to do. I do tell them, go visit your father, go visit your mother, go and hug them. I do tell them what to do. Yes. Whether they do what I suggest or ask them to do, that's something else. In my case, I do tell people what to do. Sometimes I use the phrase, I suggest you go visit your father. And others, I'm just very clear and to the point and say, go visit your father and your mother. I just told that to somebody who was here in a private session before the class. I said, you need to go visit your mother and you need to hug her and hug her the way I'm telling you. Lower your head and place your arms underneath her exiles, her arms, and your father too. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that someone else, Elia, also wanted to say something maybe, so you go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have done for the last 30 years a lot of healing modalities, and I even wrote a book about that. So talking from an expert point of view, and I know a lot of you are also expert. You, Muriel, were mentioning you have a coaching practice. My point is not every psychological healing process is the same. And family constellation is very different from others. And Berthellinger himself, and funny enough, the last few days, because it triggers me, because I also disagree a lot about what have been said on the chat. I read again a conversation between Berthellinger and I mentioned one sentence of this phrase in the chat. Berthellinger himself would appear like being cruel is just about because the family constellation doesn't have to always justify everything. Sometimes he was very clear about a kind of knowing that people could disagree with, but there's also why they would come to him. And it's just obvious for him. And for 100 pages, he would explain, I can't always say, but I know it's here. But my point is, it's about suggesting, and I was obviously here and active about what happened, and I suggest I can see and feel that anger. How about you get it out? Maybe that's an opportunity. And that's all that has been said. I used the word should, but it was much more I observe, and it was already here. It was not something hidden, or it's not she was crying and like that and didn't want to show her anger. She was totally out of herself, showing and putting anger out. So
Okay, hold on. Wait. She's not here.
no, I know, but I'm
Wait,
just
no,
talking about the scene.
wait. Yes. Tell me what happened to you.
Yeah.
You.
So to me, yeah, very interesting. So to me, and that's a good question here, because to me, the way I guide family constellation is also because I can feel what the client feel. So that's also how I can drive my family constellation. And to me, I could feel very strongly her anger. Is it part of my anger? For sure, because I can recognize. So it's mirror. Did I want this anger to get out because I was feeling bad? That's a limitation of it. And that's why supervision is very important. And that's maybe my part of the responsibilities that I took on the chat. But there were anger. So part of it was sane because it had to go out. Part of it was my responsibility because I was feeling uncomfortable with it. That's the reality.
Right. And sometimes what we do when we feel uncomfortable is we speak our
But
uncomfortableness.
I imagine in this case, we were all uncomfortable at this moment. We all feel something super strong
Fanny, talk about yourself.
I feel something super strong, and I don't want to talk for everybody, but that in the circle is not like just sometimes it's happened. We can recognize, like I feel the energy, like we're taking all the space.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, for myself, it was also super strong.
Okay, good. You felt angry or you felt the anger too.
I feel like something that have to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, Muriel, you were first and then
Yeah, so this is interesting because I wasn't there. I
Zach.
witnessed the chat from San
Yes.
Jose,
Uh-huh.
from another place. I wasn't there, very aware. But through my screen, through all the words of space holding, thank you for the experience, I felt the anger splashing through my screen. So, first of all, I witnessed the anger from a distance. So, this is just also transferable through the universe. That's first thing I wanted to say. So, I felt the anger without being there. Secondly, I still, and this is not the solution, but maybe a way to deal with future situations like this, maybe this person or people overall are not always aware what they start if they do, in this case, family constellation. What I always do from my profession, and that's also, like I said, coaching related, one-on-ones group, that before people come to my sessions, they are fully aware of what they can experience. And I want them to checkbox that they are coachable. And if they're not coachable, maybe so it can happen that someone feels anger or that you're saying something that's whoa, just is causing anger, sadness, whatever. That can happen. We don't always see that coming. But by stating in advance, if I think we should be really, it's two things I want to highlight. Are you aware, is the person who is participating in your sessions fully aware of what is part of it? Family constellation is often the coach is giving you very clear instructions what to do. If Gloria tells me, do this, go that, I take that 100%. That's a thing. I say thank you, even if it's hard. I know this is what I'm paying her for as a family constellator. But the question is, are people always aware of that? Is part of this essence of coaching that you may hear things to do that are hard for you. That's one. And that comes maybe with a disclaimer or check with the people. Are they aware what they can expect from family constellation? It's not always pleasant in their senses. And secondly, I wanted to highlight that I always use as a coach the word when I feel tension and I feel anger and I feel like, ooh, this is boundary line work, but they need it. I say, consider the word consider too. And that helps you set boundaries, allow the person to grab their boundaries. Like, okay, I'm considerate, but it gives them a little bit more, maybe the feeling that you're not pressuring them, and that I have positive experience with that. I'm not saying this is the way, Gloria, the way that you coach. It has helped me, and it was not comfortable, maybe, or so those two things in advance, being sure that people are aware that you're gonna give them advice they find hard to do, and two, the word consider too, instead of do this or blah blah
I
blah. That
suggest you do.
I wanted
My
to.
suggestion, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And even then, sometimes we will not hear what we're not ready to hear. Elizabeth, you want to talk? You want to say something? Thank you, Muriel. Thank you, Elia.
Hello.
Hello.
Wow, yes, thank you. Uh, I'm gonna talk for me. I think that this is a big knowledge, like all the things that I'm hearing that I was experiencing in the weekend. I was in the 2 days, and what I can say about I have two things, from feelings and from thoughts. So from my feelings, I was experimenting the anger because now that I'm telling you, I have my heart like this because I suffer abuse in different ways. But personally, I can't imagine to have something like that in my life. Um, so that was the anger that I felt, maybe with her, maybe no. And then about thoughts, I wrote something that was super interesting about Muriel was saying, and I was doing coaching, like the vivencial sessions, the career, and it's true, it's super strong. And it's my coach used to say something like, we are gonna hit your ego, but not your soul. We are gonna be so respectful with your soul. That was one phrase that, and you can like it or you cannot, but this is the way they work. Maybe Mira can say something about this later, if she's agree or not. But this is the kind of coaching that I've made. And another thing is, if we go deeper, like without all the stories about what happened and everything. So this is what I wrote. Get anger is judge about something bad. Wouldn't be saying the same about to judge that someone made you feel happy. Like if we were talking about to be happy and be fun and like we are gonna be all this, we were feeling all this. Like the anger is judged about something that is bad, that is hard to feel, that is rejected for all of us. I want to say, like, I feel like because it's so many words, all around the world, we have the word inside. So we keep working on this, but I want to talk for myself. So when we are happy, are we mad about someone to tell us what to do? Or we receive differently just because our positive, happy energy is about we are feeling at that moment. So we receive it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to take you like deeper in the no judging, trying to don't judge, trying to don't talk about any particular person. Actually, I would love that just be here. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I'm so nervous, but this is coming from the bottom of my heart. Like, I don't know, we will be happier, or I will be happier if I can be integrating like the feeling, like human being, and the stories, and then identities, and then go back and look like a watcher. And oof, thank you for listening. Yeah, this is all.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Very briefly, say it in Spanish, please.
En español, wow, ok. Wow, es muy loco. Voy a tratar de hacer un resumen. Lo que experimenté en coaching, el tiempo que estudié y que hice los vivenciales fue tan fuerte que lo que ha como guiado a mi familia siempre ha sido el enojo. Entonces era algo muy explosivo y muy fuerte en mí que hasta el día de hoy sigo observando y todo a un nivel muchísimo más bajo, gracias a todas las constelaciones familiares y un montón de cosas. Entonces tenía un coach que nos decía a todos, era grandísimo, manejaba un grupo de 100 personas, una locura, así muy... decía que vamos a herir tu ego, no vamos a herir tu alma. A tu alma la respetamos y la honoramos por sobre todas las cosas. Y si lo pienso, el ego, ¿qué es lo que hace? Juzga, ¿verdad? Como esto está bien, esto está mal, esto está de un lado, esto está del otro, esto no es mío. En realidad todos somos lo mismo al final. No estoy ahí, si no estoy resonando, no estaría ahí, no hubiera llegado bajo ningún punto de vista, me parece a mí. Entonces lo que escribí es que si juzgamos el enojo como algo que está malo, como algo difícil de que se sienta, es juzgado, o sea, es rechazado, lo queremos lejos. Todos hacemos un gran trabajo por conocer nuestras emociones, cada uno a su tiempo, a su proceso, como pueda. Pero si hubiéramos estado felices y alguien te dice, ay, podrías hacer esto, podrías decir esto de ahora en más, o podrías manifestar no sé qué frases, y ¿lo tomaríamos mal o no? Porque en realidad estaríamos alegres, positivos, receptivos. Entonces, si voy muy, muy profundo, es a cómo yo juzgo y miro las cosas. Y por otra parte, es el sentimiento de que he recibido abusos y he abusado en mi vida de muchas maneras, pero nunca a ese nivel. Y eso me duele tanto y me da tanto enojo que pude sentir el enojo en ese momento. Y de hecho, todo el fin de semana, y de hecho hasta ayer sentía enojo, y por eso y por otras cosas, porque todo es resonante. Entonces eso quería decir.
Thank you. I just remembered something about anger. All of us are angry, yes. If we weren't, we would all be dead. So anger has a place and a very important place in our lives. The thing is, when we grow up, when we start growing up, being angry for everything and everybody is not going to help. So there comes a time when we have to come to terms. It's my opinion. We have to come to terms with our anger. So thank you for reminding me about anger, Elizabeth. And all of you, some of you have said it before, but it didn't click until Elizabeth said it in Spanish. Michelle?
Okay, I wanted to say what I wanted to share about it. First of all, myself, I felt like in two. One is being a friend and the other one being a student of family constellation, a student of a constellator. So I feel it's two different parts. One is being a friend and one is doing the work as a constellator. The other is what really taught, for me being a friend, I want to, and so I continue the violence, right? So we don't want that. But what really touched me is when someone is going through something so heavy for so many years and is working through so many different ways on it. And still always, and still always has to find again suffering. I totally understand, because I think it's not the easiest. There is some things we do, and then, as like Muriel mentioned, then you say to us the sentences we have to say, and so we say it. Like in my case was like this. And then I just observe, and then it's just, oh, okay, I feel lightness. It resolves pretty quick in that moment. But there is topics, it's just other levels. So it doesn't just dissolve or resolve, resuelto. How is resuelto? It doesn't
Resolve.
get ordinated so
Mhm.
quickly and so easy.
Mhm.
And so I have a lot of little points. So the other is like when, like anger is looked at it so, say, like negative from many people, from many, like in this world. But actually anger is one of the most explosive energies that we have. But if a seed, like when a seed gets planted, when a seed is laying there somewhere, wherever, and he has that shell, to open that shell, he needs to have that explosion, this plant, to start to grow.
Mhm.
I wanted to add this.
Mhm.
And another part is sometimes when you are facilitator, it can be whatever emotion is happening from the client, that you are just the trigger. Whatever emotion it can be. I remember, like in shiatsu practice, we also had a lot of psychology classes, and we played like these roles when you have these relations, the anal relation, the this and that and that. I remember the anal one because that was like where I had to play the role, and that was when the facilitator like falls in love with the client or the client falls in love with his healer and all of this. So we made little theater from it, quite funny, so to have the memory from it. But so I wanted to say, when I was giving like physical treatments, shiatsu treatments to men, it could have happened sometimes, and I'm going to make now not the anger change to other emotion, that there would be like a sexual response coming, but it would be like if it just happened and I continue to do the work and it goes away, it just like released something. But then I had a couple of clients where they started to breathe strong, and then they started to wish other things. So then I just very clear, I said, look, my work, what I'm doing is this. If you need something else, you have to look for it. Or I think maybe the therapist, a man or somebody else would be better for that than me. You know, I had to clear the situations. But so just saying that sometimes an emotion can come out, a really strong one, and it comes out and it can grow into something good, but it doesn't mean at the end, it doesn't mean anything. It means something, but it doesn't, like, it just goes, and if the growth is happening, the growing energetically, so then it's good. So I felt like this was like something, it came out, but also there was a lot of frustration in it. Like anger has a lot of different, like now in this situation we talked also about this, when somebody works so much on something really heavy, at some point I think it's also, and that there is also, we get more sensitive to it, and it gets maybe too much. That, so I totally, somehow I understand, and I also liked your reaction, Gloria, because you were like, okay, this now happened. You were just there, and I think that is the point, because then you're the
there.
facilitator and not the friend.
I didn't run away. I didn't say,
Mhm.
with you, I do not work because you don't respect your mother. I really admire Mr. Hellinger for saying those things. And I said, gosh, I haven't. At one point, I didn't respect my mother, and I can't, I won't not work with somebody. But yes, a lot of emotions do come out. And if I'm calm about them, if I'm okay with those responses as a facilitator, mm, everything will turn out to the best of everybody's ability. Okay, and meaning we didn't start hitting one another, we didn't start calling one another names. We finished and we hugged, and we say, see you tomorrow, for those of us that were coming back. And yes, I do want to continue reading what Jess wrote, because she did say it is not our job to tell people what to do. Maybe it's not my job, but I do it because it helped me when people would tell me, Gloria, a cousin once said to me, Gloria, look at the way you're responding to your mother. I'm talking about ages before I started Family Constellation. I was a teenager then. And I wasn't able to see myself. I couldn't. I just was upset with my mother, with my father. So we do need people to be our mirrors, or to let us know what they're seeing, our mirrors with voices. So it is not our job to tell people what to do, but to hold space for them to complete their process. Yes, yes, of course. But when we say, tell the representative of your mother, um, give me your blessings to be different, to feel different, to do things differently, we are telling them what to say, what to do. We are. When we move them in space, the movements, we are telling them. And what you mentioned about family constellations, Elia and Mural, it is different. And my way of dealing is somewhat different. At least this is what a young woman, Latin American young woman, told me. Gloria, I've been to many constellations with other facilitators, and nobody makes jokes like you do. Nobody. And we don't laugh the way we do with you. And we laugh and we cry and we're here, but nobody. And so what I'm saying is, yes, we all have our own styles, our own ways of doing things. And it's never my intention to not be there for somebody, though at times I've done it, or to make somebody feel, quote, bad. No. Muriel, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on something that has helped me so far when I'm guiding people through certain processes as coach. And I'm just imagining using family constellation in there, which is my purpose, that it can create a stronger reaction for people, right? And what helped me so far tremendously, and my intention is to use it more, is when such a response like anger, which I tried to see the situation, but I wasn't there, so it's going to be always hard for me to know exactly what happened during the weekend, but I have my mind movie with it. Okay, when something happens, that my intention would be when that happens in my session as a coach, that I don't take it personal. It is my task to, you don't control what comes out of a person. And I don't want to label that I'm not doing the right work because someone shows anger. It may be a very good development, but as a person, as Muriel, of course, I would love to hear thank you. You helped me so much. Round it up before someone goes home. But often that's not possible. So I'm just saying, um, I just wanted to reflect on that. Maybe that's a good thing for everyone to remember, leaving up to you, Gloria, if you feel aligned with it. Like, whatever the response of the coachee or the client, don't label an anger reaction or a long chat with all kinds of words as you didn't do the right thing. Often the effect will come out, will evolve later, and you were, as a family constellator or as a coach, part of that process. So I tell myself, I don't take it personal. Maybe a client gives me feedback that I may change how I talk to clients. Yeah, I've learned that over time. That's why I'm very cautious with my word and always say, consider to do this. Hey, I often say, remember you paid me to do this service, remember? So I am not helping you to tell you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what I feel you need to hear. That's what I always say when I feel there's like, this blockage. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that in. Don't label that if that something was good or bad, based on the angry response of clients.
Yes,
So
well,
that was my
thank
feedback.
you. Thank you. No, I allowed everything to happen. Maybe I'm sure I triggered with my comment because it was my comment that triggered everything. When I said, well, at least it didn't take 6 years to respond, I'm sure I touched a wound there. And it wasn't my intention to touch a wound. My intention was to help her see that it was only 2 weeks, even though those were the 2 longest weeks in her life, she said. But I wanted her to see a different point of view, and she couldn't. And then happened what happened. And somebody wrote something in the chat, so I'm going to read it. It says, words are just a superficial part of the work. Esteban wrote it. Words are just a superficial part of the work. And yes, yes. What are behind our words? And I didn't at that moment say, oh, I know what happened afterwards. This person mentioned that I provoked her or I made her feel, no, I didn't provoke her. I made her feel bad. And I can't do anything about making others feel bad or good. In other words, I triggered that in her.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going way straight. I think everyone decides how to feel themselves. No one can. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that in.
Well, that was another comment
Yeah.
when she said, "You made me feel," and I don't remember her
Me
exact
feel the
words.
bad person in the movie. This is the sentence. Like
What?
you make me feel the bad person.
Oh,
And she
thank
was
you.
repeating herself, repeating herself, repeating herself, like kind of trance.
Mm-hmm.
She was into that. She was into like angriness trance already. That for my part, like that is funny. Like just wanted to hug her and like want to cry with her and like because I empathize, but in the constellation way, the energy was already here before the word. So this is was my question, that when she was already in that state, and or after your joke, like super Frenchy joke, and what Elia said, that kind of push the red button to put the shit out, like Patty does, like the duck does at the end.
Yes.
Like it was everywhere into the circle.
Yes.
No, but for me, it's like the big image after days. I really feel it and see it on that way. She was repeating herself. She was, I feel like she was also the one blaming herself.
Yes.
Which make funny sad, like the
Say something I think would be nice if she would be part of while
Yes.
when people
yes.
start to see, did she
I
say
really
she
wish she
or
can
you
be.
put your own thing. Sorry, I put here, and I think it's not okay. Speak.
Well, I said it a while
The
ago.
person that's not here
Michelle, wait a
now.
minute.
I
Wait,
wish
wait.
um
Yes, wait a minute. I did say it a while ago, and we focus on what I felt. And thank you for, was just remembering that phrase, you made me feel. And it's, you're right, she's not here. Well, but it's like if she were, because we're reading her text. I'm reading her text. We are not. I am reading it. And we're commenting on her text. And Esteban wrote something else. The morphogenetic field and the patient bring to the movement what they need to happen for their own healing. Yes.
Maestra,
Esteban.
I would like to, well, not don't know like the context exactly on what happened, and I think I don't need to for what I'm about to say. But most likely, well, it's been a long time since I'm not facilitating constellations, like 2 months or more. But whenever I've done it, I like to tell the patient, I like to constantly remember that we need to stay in the adult status, in the adult state. And that means in the adult state, no one makes you feel nothing because you own your own emotions, right? So it's pretty important. And whenever someone tells me, you make me feel something, stop there and say, well, we are between adults and we must remain on the adult. The adult is responsible for its emotions, so no one makes them feel any way. You own how you feel. Just, I like to add that. Not sure if it helps anyway or someone before I go back to work.
Thank you, Esteban. It does make a difference, of course. Let me open my camera. It does make a difference because we were talking to a child. I became a child at that moment. And as children, we can't listen. And this is a very good, I thank the universe, God, life, the great force, the great soul, the way it happened, because we're learning a lot from that. We can really learn a lot. And it's not looking for whom to blame. No, it's how can we solve that? And Muriel already shared, you can take the horse to drink water, but you can't force him to drink. And that's true about every one of us. They can give me all the suggestions, all the rules, all the work uh, of all the great celebrities of self-help or help. And if I don't do it, they can keep their greatness to them. And it's true. And it had to happen. we are all angry people, some more than others, and we let it come out. And on the other hand, it was a safe place. And that's the reason why it happened what happened in that space. So yes, um, mm, it's interesting. It's like I want what you have. I want what you do. And why am I saying this? I don't think it has to do with what we're talking about. But yes, we're trying to become or to learn how to communicate with others, and sometimes we make mistakes. I've made mistakes, and probably I will continue making mistakes. Last night, something happened here in my house, and I didn't tell a friend what happened. And this morning, she told me I was going to find out anyway, and that didn't make me feel good. I'm still learning. Yes, Muriel.
Was there someone else who wanted to speak first? Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, go.
Jared, go,
You have
Jared.
to unmute you. I know that somehow you cannot find the button to raise your hand. Go first.
Go.
Tammy.
Jared.
Type. Yeah.
I don't know how to
Oh,
do the
Tammy.
hand button,
Yes,
so
are you?
I have no idea. I just keep doing this. Thank you, guys. I just have to say, I've heard it 1,000 times. Jared, how do you feel now? It rings in my head every week, and he calmly just like, I feel this. I feel completely in upheaval in my body from this conversation. And almost, I want to throw up. And I wasn't like this before this. I'm very clear. I did ask for protection from Jesus Christ himself before I got on this call. I feel like it's a very interesting conversation because Jessica is not here.
And she's
That sits with me in a deep way. So the reverence that we have towards our sisterhood, brotherhood, whoever it is just sit with that for a while. There's a reverence. I don't care who it is. I have Coach Maggie can tell you thousands of people. I never say those words. I could care less what I've coached, who I've talked to, how I've changed people's lives. The biggest thing I can tell you is that every time I said should in my early years, it said to the other person, I'm saying to them, you have no clue who you are. Your choices are shitty, and I'm going to step in and give you a new way. Okay, that's what it says to someone when you say you should. 100% to every person, unless they're really people pleasers and they're like, thank you, thank you. You know, this is maybe what I should do because they haven't learned their own power. Anytime the word should comes out, you know what I say to people that say you should to me? I said, please don't shit on me. Don't take a shit on me. I don't need the should. Let's rephrase it. Let's rephrase it. That's number one. That's like you said, let's consider. I always say it may serve. It may serve for you to, for this. This may serve you. This may serve you. That's one thing I got. Also, another thing that I've learned I've had high level trauma, not the same as Jess. God bless her, because hers sounds super intense also. But I spent many years with assailants doing hardcore stuff to me, guns in my mouth, Russian roulette 1,000 times, and me saying, God, I hope it hits this time. Lots of trauma. The thing I don't like the most in my healing process, I'm really working on healing now, I'm like 20 years in, is toxic positivity in between. I don't like it when someone drops a bomb on me like, lucky you that it wasn't that many years. No offense, Gloria. I would have taken it from you. I would have. Okay. I would have handled that. I would have taken it at my own pace inside. I would have thought my own thoughts. But toxic positivity to me, it is so triggering to people with high level trauma. It is extreme
What do you
trigger.
mean by toxic positivity?
Trying to say, you should just feel good that it didn't take you that long. No offense. It's just this is highly triggering to me if someone were to say, yeah, I didn't talk to my dad for 26 years, for instance. This is a reality. And if someone would have said something to me like that, I would have been like, you don't have a clue how hard this was for me to even broach making a call to this person. And so I don't know what she's going through. Nobody really knew what I was going through, but any form of toxic positivity, like think of the bright side of this, I'd be like, what? You're like cleared out of my field immediately until I was ready to be healed and work through that. It's timing. Each person's timing different. It's not like we'll give you a 2-week process to work through this, right? Come on. I wrote this down. I don't know if it's useful for anyone, but in Scientology, because I lived in Florida for a long time and I had so many Scientologists that lived by me, I asked them what their tricks of the trade were. And the thing that I took that was the most potent for me was that they gave me a meter and it was like, this is the meter. If Jess was here, and let's call this a 5, there's no way to actually speak to Jess to get any kind of, or I'm going to say myself, because Jess isn't here I don't need to do that. Okay. If in order for someone to meet someone where they're at, let's say they're at a 5 level of anger, you have to go to either a 6 or a 4 to meet them. Toxic positivity would be like a 10, like, but yay, but think of the goodness of this, right? They don't even hear you. And anger gets accelerated 10 times more. It's just a fact. I've tried it out with my daughter like a million times. And so if I couldn't meet her 1 degree up or down from where she was, then she wouldn't hear me. And it would be just a total shit show. The frequencies fully off. I really, really like the term, it may serve you. It's worked for me and many of my exhaustive clients I've worked with. It may serve because any kind of should or all this stuff, it just races people away that are power people. The people that I know that are on level 1 of not working 25 years on my trauma, it may work, but it doesn't work for someone. It just seems to be like she's on point with her work. I don't even know what went on. I don't have WhatsApp. I have no clue. I heard one smidgen of it, but I'm thinking to myself, if she knows 10 modalities of healing, she knows that there's a fine way. And we all know that there's such an inclusive society on this planet of healers that are very inclusive. Inclusivity is a massive thing. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. Everyone's very inclusive, as in like very careful about how they speak to every single person they meet. So it's so interesting, right? I don't know Jess myself, but my heart goes out to her because I understand I was so angry in my life. I could have easily just taken someone's neck off 1,000 times because of all the pain I had. And so that there's a lot of pain involved. It's such a tricky situation. So working with people with family constellation can highly trigger them, right? It can highly trigger them. And it was just a thought because we started out with the way that we say things makes such a difference. And it is so real. I learned it the hard way. I was a tough love teacher for a long time, and all the Santa Trades of people before all you guys came. I lived there 2003, I started. And I was tough love. And I was really tough. And everybody ate it up. But then after a while, I was like, wow, I'm like broaching a level of like I could be like shunned out of stuff if there wasn't such a lawless place that we lived in. It was just like no police, there was no rules in Santa Teresa back in the day before everybody came. And I was teaching in a place that was really strong and heavy because I was ready because I had just gotten out of 1 level of pain. So I just want to share that from my perspective because you guys don't really know me that well. Some of you do know me a long time, but keep that in mind. That deep level of pain that she has is to be broached differently and more, maybe more inclusively on her end. She can see it because that's the work that she's been working on, right? That's probably why she had 10 modalities under her belt, so she could see all the avenues. So I'm just holding her right now because I wasn't involved in this, but I am involved. And I just want to share that that should word should be just X'd out. And I can understand if somebody would have shit all over me, 10 people shit on me in 1 second, I don't even know if I'd be ever come back to this group if that would happen. That's how sensitive people with a lot of pain.
Okay.
A lot of pain.
Okay. Yes.
I share. I'm sorry. I got triggered from the whole
Thank
thing.
you, Tanya. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. I just remembered something in Esteban. Well, Elia said she had to leave. And like she mentioned before, she was only going to be a certain time with us. And Esteban mentioned about the morphogenetic field and the patient bring to the movement what they need to happen for their own healing. And he also said in constellations there is a yes to all, to everything. And here's Elias mentioned message. I have to go as mentioned. Have a good day. And Esteban, yes to the perpetrator, yes to what happened that goes beyond positivity. It is acceptance. And I do want to listen to the others, Jared, and then Neural, and then Fanny. I don't know what order. Jared.
Sure, thank you. A question. So Esteban was talking about, of course, we're working from the position of the adult. Okay, the adult is responsible for a long list of things, one of them being the emotions. So the question is maybe a little more of a technical question. When we're doing movements, are all these movements still happening from the position of the adult, or because of these traumas took place when we were children, we're working with the inner child? Like where are we and how are we switching, and when does that take place?
Okay, thank you. The way I see it, Jared, is first of all, there's no inner child. It's me, Gloria, of 69 years old, who haven't processed all my wounds, or profoundly enough, all my wounds, and something will trigger me and I will go back to being a child. But it's not my inner child. If we talk about inner child, we have to talk about inner teenager, inner young adult, inner older adult, in my case, inner senior citizen. And no, to me, it's something that I didn't work out when I was young. And now, 10, 20, 40, 50, 60 years later, it triggers something in me. And it's still happening in my personal life. And somebody asked me, it never stops? And the answer is no, it never stops. The thing is, what's interesting is a lot of things happen when we're facilitating or when we are in a group setting. And when somebody says, or when I say, you make me feel, whether it's something good or something not so good, I am feeling the victim. I am placing the responsibility on the other person. And that's a fact. And yes, some people make us feel better than others. Some people make us feel loved. That's true. But it's not that they make me feel, it's that because the way they are, I feel loved or I feel ignored. But it's because not, and I guess what I'm saying is, yes, We even danced to the song Like a Virgin. You make me feel like the first time. And it's true. Sometimes others do make us feel a certain way. But when I realize that, oh, this person wakens up in me my anger, it's not that this person is making me feel angry. This person is waking me up, whether it's anger, whether it's love, whether it's protection, whether it's security, whether it's sadness. That person triggers that inside of me. Because if I had said that to another person, I would have probably triggered maybe laughter or maybe tears in their eyes, because the same comment has different responses. So what I'm saying is, when we talk or when somebody else talks to me, it's not that they make me feel that way. It triggers that is inside of me. And if I feel insecure, it's not that this person is making me feel insecure. No, this person is waking up my insecurities. Am I being clear as to what I'm expressing right now?
Very clear.
Okay. So it's not that you make me feel. No, you wake up that inside of me. Whether it's wanting to kill, wanting to love, wanting to steal, wanting to hit, wanting to curse somebody, that's what's waking up inside of me. And I was remembering Mr. Hellinger's concept as to being a victim, feeling like the victim. He would always say, be careful of the person that feels victim. They will try. I don't remember the exact word, so I asked the artificial intelligence Hellinger's opinion of the victims, and he said Bert Hellinger viewed victims as individuals who often find themselves trapped in long-standing family dynamics and unconscious patterns of behavior. He believed that the role of the victim arises from unresolved issues within the family system, which can include inherited traumas or loyalties to family members who have suffered. And here I would add, or even to the suffering of that particular person. Hellinger emphasized that feeling like a victim can prevent personal growth and healing. He encouraged people to recognize their own responsibility in their situations rather than solely blaming external circumstances or blaming others. According to him, true transformation happens when individuals can shift their perspectives, understand the underlying family dynamics, and break free from the limiting beliefs associated with victimhood. By doing so, they can reclaim their power and move toward a more fulfilling life. That's why.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
So
No,
all of that then is happening from the adult. So doing those, the last sentence that you just said, we're working from the adult to change that perspective,
yes,
even if it's something that happened 50 years ago. So
yes,
it's always from the adult, yeah?
yes, but
Okay.
when it's incest or when there's physical abuse or any type of abuse, we ask the person to say, the victim, the one that lived that, I am innocent. And that's changing the perspective, because as children, we tend to feel responsible to what happens outside in our family system. So the healing phrase, I am innocent, it's like, yeah, I was only 5 years old, or 6, or 3, or 8, or even 14. I am innocent. Yes. Yes, you are innocent. And the adults are the responsible ones. even though they behaved probably from their own unprocessed, unfulfilled traumas. And by unfulfilled traumas, but I mean by not being able to come to terms with their own traumas. So yes. 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 And that's the change. I have a phone call. That's very strange. It is my phone that's ringing. Well, it's still ringing. Let me see, because it's very persistent. Yeah. Still coming. I'll be back right back.
By that saying, I wanted to share something. Also, what was happening Saturday, all in between, like a little trigger from myself that I didn't want to ask Gloria, but I didn't have the chance. I got sick Sunday. And
I made a
so a
mistake.
lot of the time,
It wasn't me. It wasn't
Huh?
my cell phone.
Ah,
And
yeah,
I thought I was right, and I was wrong.
I was Hi Gloria. I
Hi.
wanted to share something.
Yes.
Yes, that I because of the phone call, I guess I should share it even more. I was sitting next to you in the constellation Saturday, and you were a lot on your phone. Like half of the whole group constellation, you were on your phone, and it was triggering me so hard. Like I'm like, why she's all the time on her phone? Like it was triggering me super strong. Like it felt like, doesn't she should be like shoot like it was just like, wow, like it feels like you're not present, but it wasn't, you were present, but still it was like very weird to me that you were a lot on your phone, maybe doing messages or whatever, or looking something up, that's something else for the group, but like messaging other people during the constellation, it was like so weird to me. And like you feel like a little bit like kind of unpolite, or like you were not present, and it was really bothering me. um and I wanted to bring it up after or during, but just the moment didn't show up, you know. And then when I got home, I was sitting in the car and was thinking, okay, why does it bother you? Like, what is the reflection to me? And then I was like, okay, like I have a 12-year-old daughter, and she's asking and asking to have a phone, right? She doesn't have a phone. She wants a phone, so she's like, Mom, I want a phone, I want a phone. Like, it should be better when I have a phone. So it's like, but you don't need a phone, you know, I'm trying to take it as long as possible. And she's like, but yeah, but you know, when we're home or whatever, everybody's on his phone, and I'm just sitting there like, you're on your phone, that's on your phone, sister is on her phone. So I was like, okay, thank you, Gloria. Like, I'm like, wow, I'm sure she didn't do it consciously, but
no.
I just wanted to share that. But you said, because you said your phone was ringing, and well, there. So a lot of things happen in the constellation that, and there was another person that isn't here, that was in the constellation. I shared it to her because we were just talking, and she's like, yeah, me too, I was so triggered. Gloria was on her phone all the time, I was so triggered, like, and definitely she had some issues with phone use as well. So it's interesting that even a lot of happens during the constellation that we don't even realize that we're healing it during the constellation. It's only afterwards sometimes that we I don't know, I was not conscious about it. The other person I talked was not, but when I told her, she got conscious about it and she was processing the healing. And a lot of times, even when there were persons in the group that are not here, they shared with me like, wow, when I was reading these messages, these comments that were about the constellation of Cedar, I got so nauseous, I needed to vomit. I'm so like, well, you're processing clearly something is triggering you. There's something to look at you for to heal yourself in this, what is reflecting you, what making you. And she said, yeah, I know what it is. And so in the days after, we're still healing and we don't always understand what triggered us, what brought up, what, yeah. So I just
Well, I can tell you what triggered. Remember that we're learning to say yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you saw me on the cell phone, and I'm not justifying myself, maybe if you had said yes to the fact that Gloria, I was on the phone, I would have stopped. I don't know. But that means there was more than just one angry person.
Mm-hmm.
And what it means also is that I'm smiling because it's like the question for all of us, who didn't pay attention to you when you were young? And it's usually mother or father, or sometimes it's both. So I triggered those feelings of mother or father not being there for me. And it happened that way, and I say yes to the way it happened. And sometimes I leave my cell phone somewhere else because I need to be there. But for some reasons, I felt it was okay. I don't know why. I don't even remember who I was texting to. I don't. Or what. Or if I was looking for info. I don't remember. What I do know is that I triggered certain feelings in some of you or in all of you. And there's a lot of writing in the chat. So before letting Muriel and who else, Elizabeth speak, Michelle is asking question. When someone has been conditioned during many years to be the guilty one, wouldn't it not be important for them to release to release it before having to say, I am innocent? Oh, wouldn't it not be important first to release the conditioning, giving permission to release it before having to say, I am innocent? Well, for one thing, let's see, when someone has been conditioned during many years to be the guilty one. Well, in my opinion, Michelle, the word I am innocent releases any guilty feelings. That's the way I see the phrase I am innocent. So, and release, that would be a way of releasing the conditioning of the guilty, of feeling guilty, because I am innocent. Does that make sense, Michelle?
More or less. It's when you like believe something. It's just reflecting on different clients I had over the years also. So when you have something really like conditioned that you believe it like so much that you are the guilty one, and then just with that one phrase being able to resolver everything, it sounds nice. Basically, to me, it sounds nice and easy, but the fact is that when somebody believes something so deeply that it's nearly going disbelieving to the root of the belief of that person. So I don't know if it just can be resuelto like so easy with that sentence if it doesn't need in my
Well,
little
my
experience.
my experience is that it is solved when the person really feels innocent and realizes that they did it out of love. For Mr. Hellinger, everything we do is out of love, and that makes a difference. And when I say I am innocent and you are responsible, I'm being the child and I'm letting you be the adult. Even though the adult might be a 5-year-old in a 60-year-old body. Okay. So I might, let's see, of course we can continue talking about it. Acknowledge the perpetrator is not 100% guilty is immediate forgiveness, is taking the victim out of its role. The victim stays victim until the
Yes, but
victim's...
this is the point that make me mad. Like, I'm really happy you wrote that, because this is the point where I was talking on the other day, like when it touched baby, I don't get it. I don't get this sentence. Like, it's something doesn't go into my soul, my brain. I totally reject that. I understand all this sentence, but like torturing a baby, doing stuff to the babies, like innocent being, pure, like I can't with this sentence. I can't. So maybe I have to work on something, but this is what make me really angry.
Well, okay, Fanny, let's, babies are touchable. Babies are lovable. And yes, they can't defend themselves. And they only feel pleasure or unpleasure. They feel nice or not nice. And that's a fact. And they can't, sometimes they bite us when they don't like something. But when it's pleasure, because I remember this scene of a young woman breastfeeding her son, and her son was touching his penis, and they were in heaven, both of them, because he was also touching her breast, the other breast. And I think it's when we see things with eyes of judgment of this is right, this is wrong, that creates problems in our life. And if it helps to see it the way all the principles that Mr. Hellinger came up with, and it helps you, then that's your path. It's helped me tremendously, and it's my path. And I'm sharing my path with you, and you will decide what you can incorporate and what you don't want to or can't. Let's not put don't want to. You can't incorporate. And it's a fact. And it's fine. And I have colleagues who probably started before me, and a couple of years later decided not to continue facilitating family constellations because it never ends, because there's always trauma or there's always wounds to heal. And I'm here because that's it. There's always people to accompany and to be there for. And sometimes I do make mistakes, yes. Sometimes I'm not the person at that moment that they would like me to be. But yes, and more people wrote, and I don't know who was first, Elizabeth or Muriel. And then I'll continue reading.
I would like to talk. First of all, I see all the chats and I understand it's additional to the conversation, but if we start to chat a lot and conversation, we have like double conversation. So I would want to consider everyone to keep the conversation in the talking. Otherwise, whatever. But I want to, well, meanwhile, I was wanting to say something and we had like 5 new things coming up. But actually, everything I wanted to share is touching on that. Just to think out loud. First of all, I'm going to start from backwards to what I wanted to say at first. I believe that people are motivated to do things not just out of love, but or it's love or it's fear. That's what I've learned. Motivation to do or to not do something is or love, that's ideally, or it's fear. But I'm not sure if that's, I would love you to hear, I would love to hear your response on that. That
For
firstly,
Mr. Hellinger, fear is love.
okay. Well, in that case,
Everything.
that is the same. Yeah.
It's the
But that,
same.
yeah, okay. Okay.
And he talks about innocent love, blind love, and I added possessive love, jealous
Yeah.
love,
Okay.
pure love, which would be the fear that you're talking about, Muriel.
Okay, I
And
gotcha. So now I understand what you're saying. I was like, I miss a component.
well, and it has to do with the frequency. Fear
Mm,
is low frequency, blind love is low frequency.
mm,
And when we follow the principles of the orders of love of Mr. Hellinger, of placing order in the family, first is the father, then the mother, and then the children in order of appearance, whether they appear in life or not, and the giving and the taking, the balance, and integrating all the family members, the belonging of all the family members, and respecting the destiny of each and every one of the family members, then love, small capital love, becomes a high frequency love.
mm. Okay.
And saying yes to the abuse. Yes, I was abused and I am innocent. That's respecting the order of I take what the big ones give to me, whether it's morally acceptable or not. It's a fact that the big ones, the older ones, give to the little ones. It's a fact. Just like as when we become older and bigger ones, by big, I don't mean size wise, I mean old. I grow up. I too have given to the young ones. And sometimes I've given indifference, sometimes I've given harsh words. And when my family members, the youngest ones, say yes to the way I treated them as an older one, things start changing for them. And that's when I say, I did to you what somebody did to me. I abused you, I was abused. I wasn't aware that I was abusing you. I wasn't in personal processes. Okay.
I don't, there is people, they are very much aware that they are abusing and they are enjoying that. So that is not very innocent in my.
Okay, that's another type of interaction dynamics, family dynamics, Michelle. And if I'm living in that type of family, I'm there for a reason too. I'm sharing what's helped me. When I read that we are born, we decide to be born in a particular family, whether it's drugs, alcohol, abuse, theft, whatever circumstances. And I'm talking only about the negative aspects of the family. I decided to be born there to live those experiences. To me, that was healing. I stopped feeling the victim because for my own personal growth, I needed that. to continue evolving
I
inwardly.
respect that part, yes. But from the raper, I don't see that the raper is always doing that out of love. I don't.
It's
I
a quote
not
negative love.
so many times
Again,
I get it more and more like no, no, no.
okay, then let's not start a discussion. Okay.
Can I
know.
continue what I wanted to
Yes, yes,
what I
we're
was
gonna
sharing?
go on.
Because now we're talking about something else.
Yes.
Which is fine, but I want to complete and I will lower my hand. Just some words of that pops up just to think out loud. But I've experienced myself feeling a victim. I wanted to touch on this victim versus impact. I think that's two things. The feeling of victim, like someone did this to me, is I think something that a lot of our potential clients suffer from or with, including ourselves. I will talk for myself. I have felt like a victim, but I learned to create impact from it. Like I've also traumatic stuff. And I was just technically talking and imagining if I have a client and something happens, that what happened in the session previous weekend, that someone becomes very angry and is stating, but you make me feel this way. What can we do as family constellators, right? Like we are humans, we bring ourselves. But I feel that it's important, and this is my own experience. If it was me, I would feel that I need the help to stop thinking like a victim and see it as something. It happened. I was innocent when it happened, but now I'm an adult and me, myself, and only me can tweak that victimhood into impact to live the life that makes me have peace of mind. No one else can do that for you. And sometimes maybe that's just my thoughts. Someone needs to experience being a victim, to acknowledge I feel a victim in order to tweak that. And I see myself then responsible to guide them with that. And also, this is a book, maybe I mentioned it before, it's a book of Viktor Frankl, The Man's Search for Meaning, that has made a huge impact of my life also because I have a history of Auschwitz. My grandfather was in that or that camp. But Viktor Frankl was a psychotherapist who was a Jew, is a Jew, was in that camp and survived, teaching this to his buddies there in the barracks. They had all the reasons to feel like victims, but that will not help them get out of there. I want to make my point that if you acknowledge that someone in a session with you or in a group feels a victim, I think it's our task to help them acknowledge, yeah, you feel like a victim because what happened to you, but now you're an adult and only you have the power to step out of it. I wanted to just highlight that. And also because this is a very deep session and I feel also myself triggered by words or people are like, yes, no, all kinds of boundaries are growing here. And I think that's a good thing because I feel that if we all would be family constellators, we bring our personal stories, personalities, styles, experiences, lives with us. And I want to bring back what I started with. When I would do family constellation with people or any other coaching, I would have defined in advance, hey, are you aware that this is a family constellation and it may be very personal? Or, are you aware that that you're saying yes to a journey of all kinds of emotions? Do you trust me? And people are also giving them the green light to say stop, give them a boundary freedom. So I was not there again, but in the case of a previous weekend that someone becomes angry, maybe that was indirectly a boundary of saying, stop, this is going too far for me, or it's too much. This is how I would work. Have someone acknowledge this is what you're starting with. Do you want me as your coach? Or do you rather have someone like Maggie or someone male, man, or so? This is me. This is my style. I'm direct. I always say that. Is that something that may help?
Well, probably Muriel, probably. But thanks to the way Maggie felt about me being on the cell phone, anger was in the atmosphere. Okay? And anger feelings have no boundaries.
Yeah.
And that's why we talk about massive what's the word? When there's chaos, massive I can't even think of it in Spanish. But when hysteria, massive hysteria, collective hysteria. It starts with one and it increases. But it was already there. And this person was the person that spoke out. So probably and I'm realizing this, I triggered anger in more than one. Okay. And in this case, she was the only one that said, I don't like what you said. But others were saying, I don't like what you're doing, Gloria.
So something just literally fell here. Did you hear it?
No.
Like something noisy. I wanted to touch on this and then I will give others the space to talk. There's an anecdote I wanted to share, and it's also about this, that I am a martial artist. I have my black belt and I choose to do jujitsu way back in the days with a sensei who was famous for his hard, tough love teaching. He was already 74 when I started to train with him. I was, I think, 24 or something. 23. I wanted to have my black belt. And I knew that, he was very high in recognition and he was a good teacher. But one, there were no females there. Two, only very high level students, all not black belt, but 5 times black belt, 6 times black belt. That was the group. And I was there. I said, oh, hi, I want to train with you. And he literally stated, do you know what kind of training this is? Yes, jujitsu, blah, blah, blah. Do you know the way I teach, Muriel? I said, well, I've heard about that you're kind of, strict and training. I know, well, I said, yes. He said, well, do you promise me that you will stick to the end? And do you trust my teachings? And I said, yes. I didn't know. Secondly, I said, yes, I really want this. And he said, also when it's rainy, when you have pain in your leg, when you have pain in your head, you promise me to come. And I said, yes, 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 yes. He did this like questionnaire. And I said, yes, I got my black belt. But there were times, so he was training, he was sitting with his stick, just watching all the students training. He said, do this, do this. And sometimes it hurt. I was training with 100 kilo plus guys, all very I was the only female who stuck around. Females came, females go, because they couldn't bear the pain. But I said yes to it, and that helped me. Also, there was a moment, so this is how I got my black belt. I trained through the pain, but also I want you to know that there was a time I was blue. I was always blue and I was bruised and I hurt. And he said, do the flying scissor, do it again. Now that was a very tough one. You had to, and my back hurt. And I felt if I do it again after 22 times, I will break my back. This is no good. So I stopped and he shouted. That was his style. Very Japanese, with his stick. Almost that he would hit you, but that he wouldn't do that. And then I set my boundary. I said, no, Mr. Van Brugge, I cannot do this anymore. This is my boundary up to here. And he said, no, you do it again. I said, no, I won't, and I have a good reason. So I sat down with respect. I did this and I cried, but I refused. And then he listened to me. So he pushed, my point is, he pushed me to the far edge, and that brought me very far, but he also acknowledged my boundary. And at that point, he said, that was very good of you. That's also why you deserve to be a black belt soon, because you all have a boundary, and you are the only one who feels this is really enough, but you pay me to bring you to the limit of bringing you somewhere. And I believe this is the fine line of our work, to be present and guard the client, but also acknowledge feedback from the client, but also stick to your style of teaching. This is just a story that came up, and after all, I'm so grateful for him. But I actually said yes, shout at me. Yes, almost hit me, basically. He didn't never hit anyone, but like that was, I said yes to that. But I knew before I started what I could expect. Maybe there's a gray zone of that practitioners are not clear to clients what is part of family constellation, that could be a roller coaster of very deep emotions. Or maybe, I don't know, I just brought out a lot. I think I said enough. I said Viktor Frankl. I said yes to a screaming sensei. I paid for him 7 years, and yes, I got my black belt, and I am grateful for his style and acknowledging boundaries and pushing someone to the limit. And that's, I think, a very important fine line. And I just wanted to point that out. We cannot just force people to do stuff, and we won't. I think Gloria's not doing that either. Well, enough. I can ramble on. Is that okay? Do you get my point, kind of, Gloria?
Yes, my sensei was not yours. My sensei, one of the many, Mr. Hellinger, and he teaches differently.
Okay.
And he never talks about what you're going to expect in a family constellation session. Never.
Well, I
So,
never had other family. This is my first family constellation mentor.
well, you can see them on YouTube. There are
Okay.
a lot. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Elizabeth?
Okay, I want to go back to the topic that Maggie was commenting about the phone, and was really funny on me because it was bothering me too. So I arrived to my house and I started thinking, okay, who wasn't paying me attention? And I was like, my mom. Oh yeah, well, my dad too, actually. And then the following day, you were not with the phone. You just took a picture. And I was like, oh. And another thing is that the fact that I was really watching you, observing you, this is my point of view, you got in a trance. You were talking at the end about anger, and your face become another one at the end of the Sunday. So you are the instrument, like all of us. Like we are in the perfect timing, in the perfect situation, and it's crazy that the way that you change and you be different. Let's say challenger, but I'm talking about phenomenological, talking about phonetic camp, everything that this is all about. That we are here, like for understanding. I think this, like all the time, we are constellating, even before for idea, even the life is. I'm getting crazy. I'm analyzing everything, but I want to feel that also. Um, So I think that is amazing. It's not just telling you, oh, Gloria, you're amazing. You know my point, right? Like you are being the channel, really guidance, like the energy. We are talking about energy. Like you become another person. You get a phone to trigger a lot of us without knowing you, without knowing it. And I'm not talking about the phone topic. It's like this is bigger than us. We can't even imagine, or this is like so clear was for me these days. So thank you, Maggie. I was about to say it. I needed to find the space. Also, it was so funny for me to and trigger, of course. Yes.
It's interesting because sometimes I'm on the cell phone, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm looking for information. Sometimes I take pictures. Sometimes I'm just human. Yes. And I shit also. And sometimes the duck did it for me. Yes. And a lot of fear came out also. Saturday and Sunday. And majority of us are foreigners in this land. And it's scary, of course. We're the new conquerors, quote, conquerors, meaning our ancestors 500 years ago came to this part of the land. And now us, being from this part of the land or from Europe, are in a different land. So we're recreating what our family members did 500 or maybe even more years ago. And I'm going to close my camera and read what you wrote because you were very actively writing. Okay. Let's see. Acknowledge the perpetrator is not 100% guilty. Is immediate forgiveness is taking the victim out of its role. The victim stays victim until unless he or she stops pointing to the perpetrator. Pointing to the perpetrator also makes the victim guilty. Blaming the perpetrator. Baby stays pure until you reach them. Then that is called abuse. Until you teach them, that is called abuse. Yes, Esteban, I agree. Baby stays pure until you teach them. That is called abuse. Can we keep the conversation in the Zoom and not in the chat? Thank you, Miro. You said it out loud. Esteban, before that point, they only felt pleasure. Now you must trust what you feel or that you are told. Before that point, they only felt pleasure. That's what I mentioned. They were in paradise, the mother and the child. Now, if somebody said to me, what you went through was abuse, you trust what you feel or what you were told that happened to you. And that's a very interesting point, a question, Esteban. Let's trust what we feel. Yes. Yes. If it hits you as a constellator, then you need work to work your wound. We all have to always. Definitely. We all have to continue working on our wounds, on our traumas, on our things that are activated by us. Yes. Okay. Oh, what an interesting class. And I didn't finish reading what was written in the chat. So let's see if it's a little bit, by the way, I don't know if it makes any sense. I seldom talk about my credentials. Anyway, I just did. By not talking about them, I did. Okay, let's see. Yeah, a lot of things. Okay. As a client on Saturday was an intimidating experience. I have my own, well, it's about Jess, and we mentioned that she's not here. I'll write what I wrote to her. Thank you, Jess, for your very precise, sincere, and profoundly accurate observations. Thank you very much. Everything you mentioned is so right. I'm glad you were able to work in a safer setting for you. She mentioned that on Sunday she worked in a safer setting for her. If in any way I made you feel that I was telling you what to do, I apologize. It was never my intention, nor was it for others to tell you what to do. Again, thank you very much for mentioning everything that you did. Thank you. And I thank everybody that made it possible for us to meet there. Thank you very much. And she does say, thank you, Gloria. I really appreciate your message. Everything I have shared is shared with love. It's hard on WhatsApp, but that was very much my intention. I felt I had to share this as it was important for me to do so. And I'm reply Jess, you and everyone in the group, all of you are very important for me. Just as you appreciated my message, I appreciate yours. Yes, I felt and feel your love. And yes, it's hard on WhatsApp. Your intention for me was always clear and loving. And thank you for sharing everything that you did. Thank you very much. And Fanny said, I would love to aboard, well, to talk about it in technically, ethically stuff once, how to talk, how to stay neutral. I don't know if we can ever stay neutral. I don't know. Even though if we watch Mr. Hellinger in his videos, he's pretty much calm. I don't know if he transformed his face in, I never saw him angry. Very quietly, he would tell the person, I'm not working with you. And this woman, this was in Washington, 2004, and he said, "I'm not working with you. You don't respect your mother. You're not going to respect me." The lady wanted him to work on his adopted son. And he said, "No, I need to work with you." And she kept insisting. And he said, "No, I need to work with you." And she kept insisting. So he just said, "I'm not working with you." And the woman walks out and she shows him the hand and the finger and the arm and everything and the elbow. And he just continued working. And I guess it's hard. What are we allowed to do, to say, and what not to? And Obvio, I have so many questions. Thank you so much for this weekend. It was full of healing, lots of tears to clean our heart. So grateful. Fanny, we will talk about that and many other themes during the class I meant. I am also very grateful to have seen those of you that were there. And Muriel said, "Hello, dear everyone. I am enjoying all the messages and feel the high vibes of the weekend. I chose that my time had to be with a personal project that I've been working on that is very important to me, and I finished it today. Good for you, Muriel. That was on Monday. That is the reason I was not there physically. Big hugs." And Elia said, "Dear beautiful souls, it has been a very healing and intense 2 days. Thank you from all my heart and selves to Master Gloria Dávila, to Maggie for making it possible, and Fanny for hosting us with such generosity and kindness. Thank you to each of you for creating this space of healing, learning, and growing. Hugs, Elia. And just deeply thank you for sharing. Indeed, I felt strong. I strongly felt, and I observed anger, which was what I saw in your constellation, and also a reflection of my personal experience, which I invited to emphasize. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me, and be sure it was done for and with love. Thank you for the lesson. And I suggest, have any of you seen Columbo with his Just One More Thing? Anyway, Detective United States Detective TV program. One last thing, we are always telling others what to do. You yourself did it by saying we should not be saying to clients, "Good rainy morning to everyone. It is downpouring here in Coronado." And just said, "Yes, we are a lot of the time. What I raised is a corner store of therapeutic work in every modality." And Julie said, Elia said, "Bert Hellinger can be brusque with his clients. At times he insists, even cuts sharply, some say authoritarian, when he believes it is necessary. He is not afraid to say out loud what others would hardly dare to think. He does not cushion or soften and this is from the book Family Constellation, written by Bert Hellinger and Gabrielle ten Hogel. And just as there is not one single God who suits everyone, there is not one way of healing that fits all. There are many modalities, like parables, each meeting the soul where it is ready. I also once was very angry with a family facilitator student around here a few years ago who asked me to say to my father, "Father, I love you," while at this time I was not ready at all. And it's thanks to this fight we had that I could meet Gloria, who came in my life and the one of many others through her teaching. So I'm more than grateful and loving the path for what it allows. With love and gratitude. And just wrote something. I believe it was, oh jeez. Well, we have it. It was written today on Tuesday. And that's why she chose to work on Sunday. Okay, and she felt heard and safe. And the greatest gift was the fact that who tuned her into her intuition. Anyway, it's all here. And oh, Michelle, I said we were going to talk about the healing sentences, healing phrases, and it's already 2:06. We'll start with healing phrases next class. Is that okay with you, Michelle?
Yeah, sure. I mean, now we speak a lot of other things, but yeah, I still have these questions that I put in the chat of the Zoom. And I was now like a bit like, yeah, we kind of all have read it in the WhatsApp message group. So I was like, bueno, so I might just copy what I wrote here and put it in the WhatsApp group also. Why not, right?
Well,
and
in a way, we did healing phrases in other ways, Michelle. When it was suggested, let's say I consider, or maybe you could consider, or I suggest, or it seems to me like, those are healing phrases too. And there's no that.
So we can make them up also.
Yes,
right?
you can also make them up. Oh, and very briefly, I need to tell you that saying it in the first person, I am worth of healing. I'm giving myself permission of healing, or to heal myself, or whatever words we use. I found out that it helps me to hear my father and my mother telling me, Gloria, daughter, you are worth of healing, or you can heal yourself. We give you our blessings, our permission to heal. Yes, you deserve to heal. We give you permission to heal. Not that I give myself permission to heal, because we grew up with father and mother, or the caretakers, whoever took care of us, whether it was grandparents or aunts and uncles or an adopted family. We need to hear those healing phrases from somebody telling me. They don't have the same impact if I say I am beautiful as if I hear my father and my mother tell me, daughter, you are beautiful. Try it, Michelle.
Oh, no, I personally don't have a problem with it. My parents, they've always been saying these things to me, actually. I'm just for other people, or
when you say it to other people, you don't ask them to repeat, I am beautiful. No, your father and your mother are telling you, you are beautiful. And daughter, you are beautiful, in the third person. And we'll continue talking about it. I just wanted to emphasize that it's not me that say it in the first person. I need somebody to tell it to me. And at the beginning, from my parents. And if my parents never told me, daughter, you are beautiful, I'm not going to believe anybody who tells me, Gloria, you're beautiful. Because I don't feel beautiful. Because nobody in my family told me. That's
parents is another issue, but that's not for now. It's other issues. Those issues, well, not some issues there isn't.
Enough is enough.
The thing is just for people that don't, when they have to say it, and they are so conditioned that it's kind of saying words onto a wall, into a way, and it's not. It's like when we say it and we can start to feel it, this is the moment when there is a part of the healing happen. But I see that sometimes it just gets repeated because they have to repeat it, but
It
it's
will
kind
not
of,
work. It will not work if I say it to myself. That's what I'm underlining. That's why they don't work. You can repeat 1,000 times, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I deserve
my
everything in
mother,
life.
what you said, that my mother says my mother feels I'm powerful. When you've been ditched from your mother the whole life and you say this, you say it, but it's not, you're not gonna feel it. And then
If
I
you,
see some people it works when you say it's the, how you call it, it's kind of the essence of your mother, the energetic part of your mother, not the actions that she has done. You use all the word, the soul, no, what do you say?
at a soul level.
On the soul level, right? So, and then I see in some, then it works, but then in some not, and that's where
If it doesn't work and those that don't work is because they're still angry at their parents and nothing will work. Okay? In spite of them being very successful and maybe having a lot of money and doing everything they want in life, there's a void. There's an emptiness. There's a hole that nothing will fill until they feel loved by their parents. And we will continue with this next class.
Yeah, so there it needs something else to happen than
Yes.
just sentences. Yeah.
And
That's
saying yes to my father and my mother. And I feel it's pertinent to end this with, I wrote, let me find this, somebody wrote in my TikTok or something. Let me see. Let me find it. And she says, no, I don't feel like telling the mother thank you, nor I feel like honoring her if she was always a narcissist. She always treated me badly, a total monster. And no, abuse and maltrato, treating others very bad is not the best thing that they could. I'm tired. I'm sick tired of romanticizing the intrafamiliar abuse. Enough, enough, enough ill treatment and abuse. That is not thanked for. We do not thank for that. And I don't know what oh yes. I published a TikTok in Spanish when resenting makes one sick and being grateful heals. And so, really, it's like I can't help somebody who's so angry, who can't see the beauty and the greatness of their mother, that she put her life at risk in order to give birth to her. I can't. And I'll leave it with that person. And I said, thank you for expressing the way you feel. And I know there's many stories that really hurt, and it's not easy to look to the past with peace and much less gratitude. Here, I share a way of seeing life to begin with that has been useful to me. However, I understand that it doesn't resonate with you or with a lot others. And each road is valid, and each one will know when and how to heal, if they so wish to heal. With respect and admiration, I really thank you for expressing your feelings the way you felt. I won't be able to work with that person. I can't. And Mr. Hellinger said it very briefly. If you do not respect your mother, you're not going to respect anybody else. whether it's your boss, your husband, your wife, your lover, your children. You won't. You can't. That's my experience. And I'm talking from what I come from and what has helped me. And if it's morphogenetic field, campo morfogenético in Spanish. Okay, to be continued. And see you next Thursday. We have 3 more classes left. Okay, thank you. Good night. Goodbye. Bye.
Gracias.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye. I'm gonna thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Love you all. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you to everybody. Well, okay, Fanny. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Bye.
Bye.